Right, we're now going to talk about scams, scam prevention. Now this is a difficult topic because scams are getting more and more prevalent, aren't they? Everywhere, almost daily sometimes.
Nightly.
And it's not just for older people, it's for everybody actually. I get scam emails all the time and I have to be very careful, and texts as well, about what I click on and what I don't. And sometimes it can be really confusing. So I struggle sometimes to really understand. And I've got some examples that I'll show you. We're going to talk about some tips and techniques to help avoid being scammed. And I'm going to show you some of the common scams that are out there at the moment, particularly online scams, things like emails that you might get or text messages. But there's other scams too, aren't there? So there's door knocking scams. People can knock at your door and want to clean up your garden or whatever. So there's all sorts of types of scams, and we'll go through some of them. This is not a comprehensive presentation, but hopefully it'll just give you some, as I said, some little tips and things to allow you to stop and pause and think, is this actually legitimate, or is this real? Should I respond? Okay, so we're going to look at types of scams first. Not going to do a little bit of a glossary. We'll go straight to email scams, and you've probably received some dodgy looking emails before. We'll talk a bit about that. Text and phone scams, door knockers, people coming to knock at your door, romance scams. Those are big as well, particularly with an older generation. And then we'll look at some tips and tricks at the end and some questions. And hopefully we've got a bit of time to do a quiz at the end, which is on our website. So we'll do that together, all right? So types of scams. Here are just some of the types of scams that you might come across. Email scams, banking scams, prizes. Sometimes you'll get a message saying you have won a prize.
Yeah.
All you need to do is pay $250 and we'll release the prize to you. Okay? Post scams, and you often get those on phone. You know, you've got a package waiting for you, right? Bills, sometimes you get dodgy looking bills. And I had one very recently, which I'll share with you in a minute. Website scams too. You can get pop-ups on websites. They can be quite common. We'll talk a bit about those. And text and phone scams. We've talked a little bit about courier and post phone calls. Has anyone received strange phone calls from people wanting personal information out of you? That's quite common. Computer scams, where people will try and get access to your computer. Door knocking, utilities, power and internet scams sometimes. Investment scams as well. Often you'll hear of investment opportunities that just sound amazing. Yeah, one of the key tips is, and you've probably heard this many times in your life, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And that's one of the key things to remember. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So let's look at some basic kind of tricks and techniques that scammers use to trick you into giving them your personal information. Links. They'll use fake links. Often in an email or a text, you'll have a link and it will be a fake link, and it will take you to a website that's not real, that they have created. It's very easy to create a fake website that looks exactly like another real business website. It's very easy to create a New Zealand Post website or an NZTA website that looks just real, so real. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. There is a way to tell a difference, and it's in the website domain name, and it's in the link as well. Right, we'll talk a bit about that. Urgency. Scammers will often use urgency and fear to get you to respond. I want you to respond now. If you say, oh, look, I'm just going to check with my family member, they will, this opportunity won't be there tomorrow. Right? They'll try and put pressure on you to make a decision now. Impersonation. They often will impersonate real people. So they might even have a picture of themselves on social media. But it's not really them. It's just some other picture that they have got off the internet. Again, a really easy thing to do. Really easy to create a fake profile on the internet. Promises. And I said, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Promises of wonderful things like true love or amazing financial returns, right? Or prizes. Often the promises are amazing and very attractive. They use fear and threats. They often make you afraid that something's going to happen. I've got some examples here of police scams. That's happening a lot at the moment too now. You know, you've been caught by a camera doing this or that. If you don't respond or pay the fine, you know, we'll press charges. There's that threat that something bad is going to happen to you. And they'll often prey on the vulnerable. So these people who ring, like phone scams or email scams, they're sending out hundreds and thousands of emails, millions. They're just hoping for a handful of people to respond. That's all they need, just a handful of people. And it's often the vulnerable people who do respond. So let's look at emails. Here's some things that are common in scam emails. Firstly, strange from address or an unknown sender, like you've never heard of this person before, right? So if you look at this email on the right-hand side, you might not be able to read that very well, but it's from a guy called Agaton Bradford, and the subject is debit activity on your account. So it's from a person that you don't know. Who is this person? Now, there's a lot of mistakes in this email. A professional company like a bank or a government department wouldn't make these kinds of mistakes. So the second point, poor spelling, often capital letters in the wrong place, because sometimes English is not their first language, and that's a sure way to spot a potential scam. So you can see missing information. Dear nobody. This email had nobody's name there. I hope this message finds you well. We're writing to inform you about recent debit activity on your account associated with your membership at your company name. Right, so they haven't even filled in the name. So they probably tried to mail merge something and add some names and information in there, but it's failed. So it's come through and transaction amount XXX dollars. Right, this was an actual email. So you can see, you know, without too much sleuth work, you can see that it's a fake email. And again, urgency and threats. So we've noticed some recent debit activity on your account. You know, someone's taking money out of your account. You better act now to stop that. Here's another email scam. This is from IRD. So it looks legitimate. Again, very easy to create an email like this. Looks legitimate. But if you look at the top there, have I got a dot? No, I haven't. You can see that the email is from alerts@ironline.ird.gobt.nz. Okay? And then it's also got alerts online, nzd@nzpublic.com. Okay, that's not IRD's domain name. Their domain name is ird.govt.nz. So this has come from nz.public.com. Okay, that's your first sign of that this could be a possible scam, is the address. The email looks pretty legitimate. Now, if you know, say they've got a link in here that they want you to click on, right? Again, very easy to disguise a link, a fake link. If you hover over a link with your mouse, a little box will come up. You can see the box here, and it will tell you where you're going to go if you click on this link. And in the box, it says the website address is YMMB84856MV8M332E. It goes on and on. Does that sound like an IRD link? No, it's not. So that's another way to spot a scam. If you hover over it and just check the web address that you're about to go to. Here's one from Spark. Confirm your email storage.
Right.
Now have a look at who this is from.
Right.
Morfoy@extra.co.nz. That sounds pretty dodgy. You know, anyone can have an extra email address, but I think if Spark was sending you an email, it would probably come from business@Spark or something like that, customer service. Again, there's a link. Click here to regain access. So we're locking you out. There's the threat. If you want access to your emails, click here. What would you do in this kind of situation if you're a Spark customer?
Get on the Spark internet, our old one.
Yep. Yep, you could email Spark, you could phone them up and say, are you sending me an email about my account? Is it locked? Most likely they'll say no, and they'll say delete that email, it's spam. Here's another one here. This one, I received this one about 2 weeks ago, and I had to stop and really think about this. Because, for two reasons. Firstly, it's from post.zero.com. Now, I know that is a legitimate Xero domain name because we use Xero for our accounting system at Age Concern. And people can send invoices through Xero, and it comes out like that, something like that, post.zero.com. So that was the first thing that I thought, oh, this is interesting. Is this a legitimate invoice bill that we have to pay? The second thing is it's come from, or it's to, consumer8@mobile repair in Paris.onmicrosoft.com. Now this happened to come through while my daughter was in Paris. So, and that's probably just a lucky chance on the part of the scammer, right? So I had two things that made it look real to me, and I started to worry that my daughter's phone, she'd dropped it in the Seine or something, and she'd had to go and buy a new phone or something. And I almost rang her and said, has something happened to your laptop or your phone? Because there's a bill for $1,493 that I had to pay.
I saw PayPal because the secure site.
Yeah, PayPal is a secure site. But again, all I've done is copied the logo. You can actually copy any logo off any website. You can save it onto your computer. That's all I've done, and they've manufactured an email to look like it's come from PayPal.
So why isn't that made illegal?
Well, it's illegal to impersonate, yeah, but anybody can do it. They can't. The way the internet is created, they can't stop you from downloading an image.
Have you ever used McAfee?
McAfee antivirus? I haven't, no, but I do use an antivirus. Yeah, that's good.
Any incoming information or whatever, McAfee should have and we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Don't open it. Don't use it. Don't use it.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good option always to have an antivirus or some kind of malware app on your phone or on your laptop.
It doesn't cost you either.
Yeah. So McAfee is a free version of that, is there?
Well, that's how.
Yeah. On your phone. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of free antivirus apps you can have on your phone. I use AVG on my phones. I used to use it on my computers as well, and that's usually free, an antivirus program. So I had to really stop and think about this before I clicked on it. And it was a tricky one, but I decided in the end it must be a scam. Text and phone scams. Here are some things that they will use. They will use a strange phone number that you don't recognize, an unexpected message. Again, poor spelling and strange looking links. Mismatched information. Right? So sometimes the name at the top is different to the name in the text. And inconsistent details. Right? So in a way, you kind of have to be skeptical of almost everything you're getting into your inbox and on your phone, unless it's from somebody you know, a family member or a friend. You just have to stop and pause and reflect and think about it before you respond. Here are some text examples. ASB, a payment of $9,000 has been attempted on the 21st of the 3rd from a new device. If this was not you, please cancel by clicking here. All right, so then as soon as you click there, you open the door to the scammer to get your information. Right, again, they're using fear, aren't they? You're making you afraid that somebody's taking money out of your account. Now, they are sending that to you in the hope that you're an ASB customer, right? They're hoping that you might not be an ASB customer, that you just hit delete, it's got to be a scam, but there'll be ASB customers out there who think that that's legitimate, and they'll click on it. But if you look at the link, the end of the link is asbcancel-newlogin.com. All right, it's again, looks kind of legit, but really no, ASB wouldn't have a link like that. Again, if you're unsure, ring ASB and ask them. Down the bottom left there, NZ, etc. Overdue notice. Please log in to view your toll invoice. You've driven past a toll bridge and you owe some money. Again, look at the link. All those different letters and stuff, it just doesn't look legitimate. If you fail to pay, we will submit it to the court. All right, so again, the threat. On the right, New Zealand Post. Who's received a text from New Zealand Post saying that there's a package waiting for you? A lot of people have received that. I've received them. Is that if you're like my family, and we've got extra family living with us at the moment, I don't know if some of them have ordered something online and the text says, oh, you've got to go pick it up. And we may actually have ordered something online that we're waiting for. And that's what the scammer is trying to do. Just catch you at that moment where you just think, oh, my package is here.
Yep.
So that's a tricky one as well. The down bottom right, you've registered a new device on the BNZ mobile app. Not you, call us immediately. Quoting reference such and such. So I imagine at the other end of that New Zealand phone number, there'll be a scammer who will pick it up and go, hi, it's John from ASB, from BNZ, sorry. How can I help you? Oh yes, what's your code? Right, and then they'll take it from there. So again, if you get a message like that on the right hand side, call us now. Don't ring if you're concerned, if you're worried, don't ring that number. Look up BNZ's number on the internet, or find BNZ's number and ring BNZ, not the number in the text message.
Okay.
Door knocking. Who's had some people knocking at your door that you think, not sure that this is legitimate? This does happen. Getting an unexpected visitor. They'll often have high pressure tactics. Again, wanting you to make a response, make a decision right away. They'll have lack of identification. Not always, because again, it's easy to make a lanyard, isn't it, with contact energy on it. It's pretty easy to do that. No written agreement often. You know, they won't give you an agreement to sign with details. And the other thing is no official materials. I have sometimes asked door knockers, can you please leave me with some information, a brochure, and I will think about it. Oh no, we don't have that information. We're not allowed to give that information out. Really? Okay. So these are just some tactics that door knockers use. One of them that we hear about at Age Concern is gardening scams, which are common. So if you have a bit of an overgrown garden, they'll knock on your door and they'll say, look, we can trim those trees, we can mow your lawn, we can take all the green waste to the tip. It's going to cost you $750. And you say, okay, yeah, let's do that. So they start work, and after a day, they come and knock on the door and say, look, we need a deposit for the rest of the work. And the person will pay them half the money, $350, and they'll never see them again. Right? So money up front is another warning sign that it could possibly be a scam. IT support, this is an interesting one as well. I've received phone calls from Microsoft wanting access to my computer. There's a problem with your computer. We need to get onto it to fix it. Right? They don't do that. As I said, I've received probably in the last 20 years several calls from IT at home wanting access to my home computer because there's a problem. And I know straight away that they're a scammer. And what they do is they request access, and they request access to install software on your computer. So they will ask you to go to a website and download a piece of software. Once you do that and install it, they can then access your computer through that piece of software. And that's actually a legitimate thing. I do that with our IT company at Age Concern. Sometimes they need to log on to a computer to fix something, and that's legitimate. And I install a little piece of software for them. They log on from Christchurch, they fix it, and then they log off. So that's how IT teams work all around the world. But the scammers will want to do that to you at home. They'll have a lack of professionalism. Often if you question them, they might start to get aggressive. Right? That can happen quite often too. And you can often see fake pop-up alerts. I don't know if I've got one there. Yeah, fake pop-up alerts. These come up on websites all the time, don't they? This rubbish junk advertising. And often it again uses fear. Warning, 5 viruses detected in your computer. Click here to resolve and kill these viruses. Congratulations, you won. It's not a joke. You're the 100,000th visitor of the day. Click here to claim your prize. Here is a security alert from, looks like it's from McAfee with their logo. You've visited an unsafe site with illegal content. Again, the threat that something bad is going to happen to you. So let's go back a slide. These are some of the programs that allow what's called remote access to your computer. AnyDesk is the one that I use with our IT team. It's a program that I install and they access. And these are some of the other ones that they made. These are legitimate programs and companies used by IT companies for legitimate purposes. But scammers can also use these programs to access your computer. Once they've accessed your computer, they can then get into your banking or whatever else you need. But they need you to install the program first. Romance scams. I think we all know someone who might have been victim of a romance scam. I have a good friend whose mother fell for a romance scam. She was an older person, And she was just completely brainwashed and totally believed that this person was real. Even though everyone around her, including her bank, was saying, this person is not real, stop communicating with them, stop sending them money. It's a scam. But she was totally convinced that this was a real situation. And that happens a lot. And I think it's easy a trap for us to fall into. Romance scammers will often use overly quick attachment. They'll become attached to you very quickly without even meeting you. They'll be reluctant to meet you in person. Right? You say, I'll meet you at the library or whatever. Oh no, I can't. I'm busy that day. They'll have requests for money. It almost always ends up in a request for money. I need some help. I want to come to New Zealand to meet you. My daughter's in trouble. Stories of personal crisis and a lack of digital presence. You try and search for that person online and you probably won't find them. In some cases, you might find a picture of that person attached to somebody else's profile online because they're just using a fake picture that they've downloaded off the internet. Here are some messages. The one on the left is a text message. I'm very sorry for invading your profile. I was just going through Facebook when your profile was suggested to me as someone I may know. But looking at your profile, I see you to be a peaceful and nice woman with a golden heart for friendship. So I decided to drop a comment here. So there's just a random message they have sent someone through Messenger, probably on Facebook. Often called phishing, P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G, phishing. They're phishing for your personal contact information. On the right there, again, difficult to read, but that's a WhatsApp conversation. Sometimes on WhatsApp, you'll get random people contacting you. I've had that, and you can just delete and block them. Hey darling, hope your day has been beautiful as you are. I'm feeling quite down. I wish I could share this with you in person, so on and so forth. I'm embarrassed to ask, but would you consider lending me some money? Right, so that's where it starts with romance scams. So those are just some of the types of scams that are out there. And again, the key is to just be skeptical and to think twice before clicking or responding to things. Here are some tips that we've put together. Never give out your personal information unless you know the person on the other end of the line, or you've phoned the insurance company or the bank. You know you're talking to the bank, you know. Don't give out your personal information, particularly if somebody has contacted you. Number 2, don't be pressured into making quick decisions. You don't have to make a decision on the spot. You can always spend time and have a think about it. Hang up if unknown callers ask you for personal info. Right? You can always hang up. It's your right to hang up. Don't worry about it. Often we don't want to upset the person on the other end of the line. You know, it's just human nature, I guess. We want to be nice, but actually this person is probably trying to scam you. So just hang up the phone. Double check links and have a look where it's come from. Who's sending it to you? And what is the link they're wanting you to click on? Don't click on links in unexpected emails or texts. You know, be very skeptical of links, because that you're opening the door for something to happen. Never give out passwords. Even the bank won't ask you for your password. So just never give out your passwords to anybody. Don't send money to anyone that you don't know or haven't met. Really important. Only use online shopping sites that you trust. And again, the best way to do it is to type their address in the address bar, if you know the
Size.
and keep devices updated and use PINs or facial recognition. So try and lock your devices if you can. I know it's annoying every time you want to open your device to have to put a PIN in, But if you lost your device, if you dropped it, that just means that it makes it a heck of a lot harder for somebody else to get into your device without your PIN. So, those are some basic tips and tricks around scams. We have a website called Scam Savvy. We've got a bunch of other information on there about some of the latest scams.